If you think your in-laws hate you, trust me, you have no idea. For 3 years, my husband's wealthy, old money family treated me like trash on their expensive shoes. I thought it was just snobbery because I came from a working-class background. But last week, my mother-in-law forced everyone to take a commercial DNA test for a fun family tree project. When the results came back, the room went dead silent. My mother-in-law looked at me with pure horror and whispered, "Get out of my house before I call the police." I, 26F Maya, married Logan, 28M, a year ago. Logan's family, the Walkers, are elite. His mother, Victoria, is a cold, calculated woman who never missed a chance to humiliate me. At family dinners, she would openly comment on my cheap clothes or my parents' modest jobs. Logan always told me to ignore it, saying she was just protective. But things took a bizarre turn during Thanksgiving. Victoria handed everyone a DNA kit from a popular ancestry website. She claimed it was for a family heritage book. I didn't want to do it, but she insisted, saying she wouldn't allow unknown blood in her lineage without knowing where it came from. I swallowed my pride, spat into the tube, and sent it off. I had nothing to hide. My parents, Thomas and Elena, were quiet, loving people who raised me in a small Midwestern town. I thought the test would just prove I was 100% boring. I was dead wrong. The email with the results arrived on a Tuesday evening. We were all gathered at Victoria's mansion. Logan opened his portal, Victoria opened hers, and then it was my turn. When I clicked the Close Relatives tab, the app didn't show some distant cousins in Europe. It showed a 99.9% immediate parental match. But it wasn't my dad, Thomas. The screen read, "Parent match Richard Walker." Richard Walker was Logan's father, the billionaire patriarch who had passed away 5 years ago. The room froze. My heart dropped into my stomach. I looked at Logan, then at Victoria. The test was saying that Logan's dead father was my biological father. Victoria stood up, her expensive wine glass shattering on the hardwood floor. She screamed that I was a con artist, an extortionist, and a monster who had infiltrated her family to steal their inheritance. Logan looked at me as if I were a ghost, slowly moving away from me on the couch. I tried to speak, to say it was a glitch, but Victoria's security guards dragged me out into the pouring rain without my purse or coat. I spent the night in a cheap 24-hour diner, crying and shivering. The next morning, I drove straight to my parents' house. I confronted my mother, Elena. I demanded the truth. When I told her about the DNA test and Richard Walker, my mother didn't look confused. She collapsed into a chair and began to sob uncontrollably. My dad, Thomas, walked into the room, saw my mother crying, and sighed. He went to his closet, moved a loose floorboard, and pulled out an old, locked metal cash box. With trembling hands, he unlocked it and handed me a bundle of letters and a legal document dated 25 years ago. It was a non-disclosure and settlement agreement. My mother hadn't cheated on my dad. 26 years ago, she worked as a young, low-level accountant at Richard Walker's firm. Richard had used his power and position to assault her. When she got pregnant with me, Richard's lawyers threatened to ruin my parents' lives and put them in prison on fake corporate fraud charges if they ever spoke out. They forced my mother to sign this contract, paid them a lump sum of money to disappear, and move to another state. My parents raised me as their own, never telling me the truth to protect me from the Walker family's ruthlessness. But as I read through the legal documents from the box, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The lawyer who had drafted that horrific non-disclosure agreement 25 years ago wasn't just some random corporate attorney. The signature at the bottom belonged to Victoria Walker, the mother-in-law. Victoria knew. She had always known who I was. The moment Logan brought me home 3 years ago to introduce me as his girlfriend, Victoria recognized my name and my mother's name. She knew I was her dead husband's illegitimate daughter. She didn't try to stop the wedding because she was snobbish. She let the wedding happen on purpose. Why? Because according to Richard Walker's strict will, if any illegitimate children came forward with proof before the age of 27, they were entitled to an equal share of his multi-million-dollar estate. But there was a clause. If that child committed a felony or brought moral disgrace upon the family, they were completely disqualified. Victoria engineered the DNA test publicly to frame me as a calculated fraudster who knowingly married her own brother for money, intending to destroy my reputation, jail my parents for violating the NDA, and legally disqualify me from my inheritance just 3 months before my 27th birthday. Victoria thought she had won. When I turned on my phone, I had dozens of missed calls from Logan, screaming at me and texts from their corporate lawyers threatening criminal lawsuits. They thought I would run away in shame and fear, but they underestimated how much I loved my parents, who had suffered in silence for 25 years. I didn't run. Instead of hiding, I took the original 25-year-old contract, my new DNA results, and walked straight into the office of the most brutal federal prosecutor in the state. Because Victoria had used corporate funds and interstate wire transfers to pay off my parents and hide a felony assault 25 years ago, this wasn't just a family dispute anymore. It was federal racketeering and extortion. Right now, I am sitting in a secure location, protected by my legal team. The Walker family empire is crumbling. Logan is devastated, realizing his mother used him as a pawn to commit a crime, and Victoria is currently under investigation by the feds. In 2 months, I turn 27. I am going to take every single dollar that belongs to me from that estate, not for the luxury, but to make sure Victoria Walker spends the rest of her life in a place where old money can't buy her freedom.